baby.
That intro. It's pretty cool, huh? Let's go ahead and get into the face. I'm gonna prime my face with the Kat Von D Lock-It primer. I have this glove on and I just realized this is not gonna work. I was trying to give you guys the full effect. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the primer so that the foundation lays even. So for the foundation, I'm gonna be using the Lancome 24-Hour Makeup. I've never used this one before. It's supposed to be super full coverage. I'm gonna use my IT Cosmetics foundation and concealer brush. Start to work it into my face. I wanted to go for just a lighter foundation rather than the white paint because I want to make it a little bit more realistic. For concealer, I'm going to use the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. Just use the lightest concealer you have. And I'm just going to conceal my under eye circles. So I'm going to take my ash brown and I'm going to use my Luxie 215 brush and just fill in my brows. Alright, so we're gonna move on to the eyeshadow. I'm gonna leave the face for a little bit later in case you have any fallout or mess ups. We can always fix it with concealer. Take this face powder from Urban Decay. This is in Fair Cool. And I'm just going to lay down a nice even base for my shadow to smoothly blend on. This big fluffy brush, what is this? The Morphe M524. I'm gonna place it all over the lid, bring it all the way up to the brow bone. I don't use primers much on my eyes, but I feel like using your concealer and your powder just as good as a primer. It helps everything go on smooth, last long, and look a lot more vibrant. And if you guys see me looking off to the side, it's because there's a huge monitor where I can see my face. I'm just trying to see what I'm doing. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the crease. I'm just gonna use a neutral taupe shade. I'm gonna take this Tarte palette. It's like a little book. I just wanna decorate with it. I'm gonna take Nudes, this shade right here, and I'm gonna work that into the crease. I'm just gonna use windshield wiper motions, and I'm not putting down that much pressure because I want to build up the shade. So I'm using the lightest pressure on my brush. So I'm gonna start with the right side. The right side's gonna be red. That's how I remember it, right, red. And I'm gonna take this erotic shade, that's the name of it, from ColourPop. And I'm gonna lay this down as a base. Has a little bit of an orange sheen to it, but we're gonna put a matte shade over it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this Coastal Scents palette. I'm taking this red shade right here with this brush. This is a 239 from MAC. Just any flat shader brush that you have. Okay, so I'm also picking up this darker shade of red right here, so going between those two. And I got a pretty good amount of eyeshadow on my lid, and I don't want to put any more on it. I'm gonna take whatever I have on my lid and just start to work it upwards towards the brow bone, like right in the crease, using a very light hand. Okay, I'm gonna start to work it kind of down onto the top of my cheekbone because she does kind of have it really messy. This is actually a little bit of a cleaner version. I wanted to do something that I would actually want to wear and still look cute. I'm just going to work my brush in there and kind of just drag it down onto my cheekbone. And then I'm blending it onto the lower part of the outer lash line. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this blue color right here. This is Too Shy. I'm gonna pop it onto the lids. And if you're not that great at doing your makeup, or you're not really into makeup, this is the perfect look for Halloween because you can be a little messy. There's no real like perfect way of doing it. It's supposed to be messy, so mess it up if you want, but also you can glam it up too. When I saw the Suicide Squad, I was like, I have to do that for Halloween. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into the Coastal Scents palette. So I'm gonna take my Zoeva flat shader brush and I'm gonna start here, see what that looks like, and then we'll probably pop into this too. Yeah, we're definitely gonna use the darker shade of blue. I'm gonna add some dimension to my eye, so I'm gonna take this black shade right here. This is the Silhouette, and I'm gonna focus this on the crease. I'm gonna try out the Kylie gel liner. This is in black, And I'm gonna use the Zoeva wing liner brush, and we're gonna create a glam wing. I'm gonna highlight the inner corner of my eyes with this Jouer highlight in Citrine, and I'm using my Dose of Color as pencil brush. Load it up. I'm gonna add some mascara. This is the Makeup Forever Excessive Lash Mascara, and it is one of my favorite mascaras because of the way the brush is. It just grabs every little hair. All right, so I'm gonna apply some lashes. The lashes I'm using are not in this box. The lashes that I'm using are from Lily Lashes. These are the Goddess ones. I'm gonna use the Kylie liner just to tightline the upper lash line so you don't see any skin peeking through. Oh my god, that tickles so bad. Like, it's really hard for me to even get makeup in that area because it's just like very irritating. But it looks good though. Beauty is pain. I'm also gonna line the lower waterline. Okay, so now I'm gonna set my entire face. I'm gonna use that Urban Decay powder. This is actually my go-to powder. It's full coverage. It just makes you look super flawless. So I'm gonna take my big powder brush. This is from Morphe. It's the E41. Now I'm gonna add some highlight. I'm gonna take the Citrine from Jouer. I'm gonna use my new Sigma brush, and I'm gonna pop this onto the top of the cheekbones. For the blush, I'm gonna go with something very light and clownish. So I'm gonna take this one right here. This is from Tarte. It's the shade Flush. And I'm gonna take my stippling brush from NYX, load it up, and pop it on. And then for the lips, I'm gonna use the Kylie lip pencil in Mary Jo K. For the rest of the lips, I'm gonna take the Anastasia American Doll liquid lipstick and just pop it right on top. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do the tattoos on the face. I've seen plenty of people draw it on with like an eyeliner, but if you're like me, I'm not that great at drawing. So instead, an alternative is to get a tattoo. I got this, there's this rotten one right here. You can get them on Etsy, Hot Topic, Amazon.com, and things like that. And I'm just gonna use these little guys on my face. Heart is on the red side. I'm gonna take the heart and place it right here. I'm gonna take a little Q-tip and dip it in some water so you don't mess up the makeup too much. And wish me luck. I almost messed it up. Okay. Thank you, Lord Jesus Christ. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rotten tattoo. Put it like right where my contour would be. I have some other tattoos on my chest right here and on my arm. For the final touches, I'm gonna do the red ribbon on the red side, and the blue ribbon on the blue side. And then I'm just gonna tie it in the back. Okay, so what you can do is grab a friend, whoever's around, your mom, your sister, your friend. I am having my friend here just tie it for me and bobby pin the loose strands, because it is a little tricky. Yeah, so now we're gonna do the blue one. Just gonna tie it around. Tie it, and then we're bobby pinning the little loose ends. By the way, you guys, this is Shayla. She DIY'd a lot of this stuff, especially the glove. This is actually tape.
The shirt.
The shirt.
The shorts.
The shorts. She DIY'd everything. She's amazing. Okay, so we got it. Got both sides. Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby.
I kind of wanted to mix the old school Joker with a little bit of the grungy Joker we all know, and so I am putting this white Mehron Makeup Paradise Paint all over my face, and I am not doing it very opaque, I'm doing it kind of messy. This is the Saucebox Etude palette, and I am just using this for all of its awesome neutral tones that it has. Using this small angle brush, I want to start sketching out his features. He obviously has this huge, large smile, and I mean, he's the Joker. He's always joking around. And then I'm going to draw on his little wrinkles that he has because his mouth would be pulled upwards from that smile. His little frown lines and all kinds of wrinkles he got all over his face. I mean, that dude, he got all kind of lines over his face. You can use a reference picture for this. I was using one for the most part, and then also just adding in wrinkles where my face was so that it went along with my face. You always want to take reference pictures with a grain of salt because you want them to fit your face as well. I'm just still using that same shadow, and I'm going to start pulling that down a little bit just to start shading underneath some of these wrinkles. These wrinkles will change a little bit to where the shadow is depending on how the skin is pulling. Shade around the sides of his nose just to make your nose look a little more kind of angular and messed up like his is. And just like with your eyes, you want to pull the shadow down a little bit because think of the light source, like always, being a little bit on top of us, you know, right ahead of us. Try to think of where the skin would naturally fall and where the shadow would be. Honestly, you guys, once you understand why a shadow is where it is, then it'll all just flow easily. Using this fancy little tapered highlighter brush from Sigma, I want to start contouring my face a little bit. I'm still using this gray kind of brown tone shade because we don't want to go too warm. We want to stay pretty neutral. Don't mind me while I look like a creep, showing you that I'm using this black and brown together. I'm going to start darkening up some of the shadows, adding a little more depth. You don't want to go straight into black quite yet. This is when I realized that I made my nose look really weird. So we're just going to clean that up really quick because we don't want it to look like a round, bulbous piece of poo. You don't need to darken every shadow, just darken the shadows that would be really deep set into your face. For the teeth, I'm mixing a little bit of yellow and white and brown paint from Mehron to get an aged yellow and this little Morphe brush. And I'm just going to start making the teeth very long. The old school Joker, most of the pictures, he has this huge ass smile and these big o long teeth, so just create those, and if you want, you could paint most of the mouth yellow and then just kind of outline the teeth where you want them in black. You can see I do change the shape a tiny bit as I go, because as the mouth curves around the cheeks, the teeth would kind of get a little smaller because they would be showing just the sides of them. Whenever I do teeth nowadays, I always try to conceal where my lips are, and so make sure the edges of the teeth are that line of your lips. It'll really help to make those look a little more natural. I mean, as natural as a huge ass fucking smile can get. Fill in your gums with a little bit of pink. This is Beach Berry mixed with light pink from Mehron. And then I just want to outline the lips with red. You can see I'm going over the teeth a little bit with the lips, but that's fine because the lips would kind of cover the teeth anyways. For his crazy little arched brows, I went in with black body paint and I stuck to kind of my natural shape towards the beginning of the brow, just that it did go with my face, but you could do it however you like. Using Corrupt eyeshadow from Makeup Geek, which is black eyeshadow, I want to start really adding a little more depth to some of these deeper set eyeshadows. I'm not adding much black. We don't want the black to overpower the colors that we've put down already. Alright, I'm drinking a beer, so let's see if I can just like put my lips around this. Okay, I got it. That worked, okay. This is just grease paint for Makeup Forever. You could use whatever black grease paint you wanted, cream paint, whatever. And I am just putting that over with my finger on my eyelid, and I am doing this really messy. I want this to look grungy and like he's worn this makeup for a very long time because he's a dirty man, but an awesome dirty man at that. Put a little bit of the black eyeshadow into the wrinkles themselves to make it look like the makeup has set into the wrinkles, and then we're going to highlight. I'm using white cream paint for this because I really do like highlighting with white cream paint. It really sets well onto water-activated paints. And I'm just highlighting my face and highlighting a few of these wrinkles, facing more towards the tops of them. Mixing a little bit of light purple and Port body paint from Mehron, I want to start making his iconic purple jacket. I'm also using this Morphe G2 brush to fill it in, which is great for holding a fuck ton of paint and dispensing it onto your body. Mix a little bit of mango and yellow body paint to get this kind of light orangey yellow color, and I am just filling that in for his little collar, and then using light green to fill in the shirt portion. Use some black eyeshadow to sketch out where you want the collar and the seams of the sleeves to be, just so that you can get the exact spot you want. And then outline that with black body paint, and pull that black body paint while it's still wet out a little bit just to start the base of the shadow. I'm using Sugarpill's Poison Plum for a lot of the shading with this, along with Makeup Geek's Corrupt. And basically what I want to do is have the black shadows blend into the purple and then blend into the base of the jacket, which is the original color we first put down. I've shown you painted clothes before, and basically what I'm doing is just figuring out where I think there would be wrinkles on the fabric. There would be a lot, so I am just basically keeping most of them towards the sleeves, because the sleeves would be pulling the fabric towards the seam. With every article of clothing being a different color, they each need a different shadow color. So this is Enchanted by Makeup Geek to go onto the green, because green wouldn't just have a black shadow, or purple for that matter, which I was using earlier. And then onto the mango color, I'm using a tiny bit of Cocoa Bear from Makeup Geek, which is a warm brown tone. Take that cool tone from the Saucebox palette again, and just take that coming up from the collar to go onto your white skin, because that would be a shadow from the collar onto your skin, and then highlight with the white cream paint. Keep the highlights more towards the collar, but you want them to go in between some of the black portions, and basically any portion that would be a high point of the jacket. The collar would be higher up than the rest of the jacket, so make sure that is very heavily highlighted. With a little bit of black eyeshadow, you want to make sure that the jacket shows that it's on top of this collar and shirt. So you really want to make sure that these are all three separate pieces, and then add a few little wrinkles to the orange collar itself using that cool tone from Saucebox. Highlight it just like we did with the jacket. And you want to keep most of the highlights towards the middle and the shadows towards both outer edges of this collar. Looks more like a bandana, so I guess we'll just roll with it. Draw a little bow. He has lots of different bows, lots of different variants of it, so I just went with black. Make sure that the bow parts of it look very floppy, so it's just flopping down. And then use a little bit of the black eyeshadow to draw a little bit of a shadow underneath the bow, since it is coming off of the shirt itself. Onto the teeth, I am taking that cool tone brown from the Saucebox palette, and I am going to be shading the top and outer edge of every tooth. Go onto the alternating edge and side for the other side of the mouth. Basically shade towards your ear on each side. Use a little bit of black to intensify it, and towards the edges of the teeth where our mouth is pulling up, we want that to all be shaded. Go over the entire tooth, because what that will do is make the center teeth look like they are actually popping forward, and it'll make your mouth look even more curved and dimensional, which is kind of what we're going for, know what I'm saying? Add some shadow underneath the lips onto the gums, because the lips would be higher than the gums, and just darken any shadows where you see that you need to. Using the white cream paint from Krylon, I am just adding a few highlights, focusing more towards the centers of the teeth. And this is just where I'm doing my final touches, adding a few highlights here and there, and adding a highlight onto the lips. Give me a second while I pop on my wig. And that's the entire look, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I fucking did. That's my first ever Joker, and I've been dying to do him.
So first we're going to apply white paint all over the face. This is white face paint from Halloween Spirit. And you're going to also highlight the sockets, the eye sockets. I kind of followed my natural bone structure here. And then I went in and I highlighted, or I outlined the natural cheekbones as well as my teeth and the jawline, and kind of just gave myself like a rough outline of where I wanted everything to go. In the hollows of the cheeks or below the cheekbones, I intensified the black color and I took that all around the shape of my face and under my chin as well. I took the black all the way down my neck and kind of just roughly made a skinny neck, so to speak, as well as highlighting the collarbones. I wanted to make the neck just the vertebrae of the spine to make it look nice and creepy and like take the look all the way down. Now, to really make this look killer cool, you have to take careful attention as to where all the shaded gray areas will go. So the key point is to really blend out with the black. I added gray to the sides of my face, much like a contour would be, and then I also added the gray color on my eyebrow bone as well as the bridge of my nose. And I intensified the gray color as well as the black color in the hollows of my cheeks. The more I applied the makeup to this look, the more I realized I wanted this creepy hollow look. I created the cheeks to be a lot darker so that the top of the face really pops. I wanted to make this skull tutorial a little bit different, so I gave my skull a few missing teeth as well as a few gold teeth. Next I took and I kind of roughly outlined each vertebrae along the neck and the collarbones on the bottom of the neck. Now for smudging and smearing, I'm a huge fan of using my fingers. This is personal preference. I think it's a great tool, and I think that especially with face paint, it blends easier instead of just using a brush. I also had to intensify the black around my eyes, and I used eyeliner and black eyeshadow to kind of set it and mattify it. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was a lot of fun for me to do. Be sure to check out Nastassia's look.